Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with high blood pressure? If so, maybe you've wondered what it means for your health and if it's possible to live a happy, whole life with this diagnosis. Or maybe you'd like to learn ways you can prevent high blood pressure in the future. Regardless of where your blood pressure reading is now, it is possible to feel whole with high blood pressure, and there are methods to prevent this disease. First, let's take a look at what blood pressure is and how it works. As your heart beats, it pumps blood throughout your body. Your blood pressure is the pressure of the blood flowing through the circulatory system. And it's normal for your blood pressure to increase and decrease throughout the day. However, when the pressure stays too high against the artery walls for a long period of time, it causes health problems and severe damage to your heart. Your blood pressure is recorded as two numbers. These are called systolic and diastolic blood pressure. Systolic blood pressure indicates how much pressure your blood is exerting when the heart pumps. Diastolic blood pressure indicates the blood pressure while the heart rests between beats. Which of these numbers is more important to monitor? Well, typically more attention is given to systolic blood pressure, the top number, as a major risk factor for cardiovascular disease, particularly for people over age 50. For most people, systolic blood pressure rises steadily with age. This is due, at least in part, to blood vessel wall stiffening, as well as the long-term buildup of plaque, and results in the increased incidence of cardiac and vascular disease. However, elevation of either number may be used to make a diagnosis of high blood pressure. Let's talk actual numbers now, because knowing your blood pressure and checking it regularly is very important. The new blood pressure guidelines, developed by the American College of Cardiology and the American Heart Association, have eliminated the category of pre-hypertension. Instead, they categorize patients as either having elevated or stage 1 hypertension. Now, there's a long list of things that can cause high blood pressure: smoking, being overweight, a lack of physical activity, too much alcohol, excessive salt intake, or inadequate potassium intake are all contributing factors. So are your age, genetics, stress level, and sleep apnea. All of these factors take a toll on the walls of your blood vessels, damaging the inner lining cells and decreasing the ability to open up. Your circulatory system is an incredible creation. End to end, your blood vessels stretch thousands of miles. But they're small, dynamic, and somewhat fragile. They can only take so much force, and over time, little tears may occur in the walls, and scar tissue begins to develop. Plaque from cholesterol and saturated fats can build up, and all this together makes the blood vessels stiffer. The blood vessels have less room for blood to flow through, and they lose the ability to open up to adjust for daily activities. Inactivity and high sugar intake increases inflammation and harms the whole blood distribution process. This makes your heart work much harder to pump blood throughout your body. The scary part is that high blood pressure usually has no warning signs or symptoms. Sometimes it's referred to as the silent killer. Many people may not know they even have it until something catastrophic like a heart attack or a stroke happens. And that's why it's so important to check your blood pressure on a regular basis. According to the CDC, about 75 million adults in the United States have high blood pressure. That is 1 in every 3 adults. 20% of those adults don't even know they have it. And while children can also develop high blood pressure, it's typically related to other health conditions. High blood pressure affects men and women differently. Before the age of 50, high blood pressure is more common in men than women. But after the age of 55, this changes, and women are at a much higher risk. Many men in their 30s and 40s often suffer from high blood pressure without even knowing it. And women often have a lower risk of complications such as stroke and heart disease. A high blood pressure diagnosis may catch you off guard, but it doesn't have to. Routine checkups with your physician and testing your blood pressure regularly are ways that you can keep an eye on and perhaps even prevent high blood pressure. You can also make lifestyle changes to create a healthier physiology and even reverse the effects of high blood pressure. Even if you've been diagnosed with high blood pressure, don't be discouraged. It is still possible to feel whole and avoid the health catastrophes associated with your diagnosis. By recognizing the power of positive choices, you can begin to take the small steps to a better life. Your journey to feeling whole begins with the 8 principles of creation health. These lifestyle changes work naturally with your body to improve your health, reduce your risk of disease, and help you discover more enjoyment in your life. Whatever your current circumstances, you can feel better, and the creation health principles will give you the tools you need to move in that direction. You'll start by learning to care for all of you, mind, body, and spirit. This is the key to experiencing greater well-being and living a more fulfilling life. There's no better time to get started on your journey than right now. So let's start by talking about 8 practical ways to guide you on your path to feeling more whole. Keep an eye on your waistline, go ahead and snooze, get a little sunshine, break up the sitting, let go of worry, give back to the community, take the tension out of hypertension, and add flavor with herbs and spices. Choice is the first principle of creation health. All the other principles flow from your decision to take a course of action that will help you manage high blood pressure and improve your health. So start by learning all you can about high blood pressure so you can make your future choices the best choices. Making the choice to monitor your weight is a great first step to fighting high blood pressure. Blood pressure often increases with your weight. So if you weigh more, your heart has to work more to circulate blood through your body. And more circulating blood means more pressure is needed, and this stresses the vessel walls. It's no surprise then that weight loss is one of the most effective lifestyle changes for controlling blood pressure. Find out if you're at risk by measuring your waist and comparing your inches with the chart seen here. Women should measure at the narrowest part around their midsection, and men should measure at the same level as their belly button. Did you know that by losing just 5% of your body mass, you can significantly reduce your blood pressure as well? Ask your doctor about a lifestyle plan that can help you maintain and monitor a healthy weight. A good night's rest helps you feel better, but its importance goes far beyond getting you ready for the next day or boosting your mood. Sleep is a key part of maintaining many facets of good health, including your blood pressure. Your blood pressure is always rising and falling naturally, but it tends to peak in the middle of the afternoon and it reaches its lowest point in the middle of the night during your deep sleep. However, if your blood pressure does not decrease during this time, the risk of health problems increases. Without enough sleep, your blood pressure may not drop, leaving you vulnerable and at risk for complications. Getting the right amount of rest allows your body time to heal and repair itself. What's the right amount? Well, studies have found that sleeping less than 7 hours or more than 8 hours a night is linked to high blood pressure. The highest risk of high blood pressure comes when you regularly sleep less than 6 hours a night. Also, if you regularly rely on an alarm clock to wake you up, you're probably not getting enough sleep. Try going to bed earlier and see how much better you feel in the morning. Picture this. You're on a white, sandy beach, gazing over the clear blue water, feeling the warm sunshine, smelling the ocean air, and hearing the waves crash lightly on the shore. Does an image like that have any effect on your mood? I would think so. And that's because your mood is affected by your environment, what you see, smell, taste, touch, and hear. You can actually enhance your life by learning to slow down and enjoy the natural beauty all around you. Even if you don't have beachfront property readily available, there is one thing found in the environment that most everyone has access to. I'm talking about the sun. Did you know that sunlight exposure is linked to lower blood pressure? It's true. Researchers have discovered that nitric oxide, stored in the top layers of the skin, reacts to sunlight and causes blood vessels to widen. This naturally lowers blood pressure. And you don't even need direct sunlight. You can get this health benefit even when it's cloudy outside. But the one place you can't get it is inside. So if you have high blood pressure, try stepping outside for 10 minutes for a sunlight break. Exercise is one of the best things you can do to lower high blood pressure. Physical activity makes your heart stronger and opens up the blood vessels in the muscles, decreasing the resistance caused by narrowed arteries. The result is lower blood pressure. In some cases, exercise even works better than medication to lower your blood pressure. And this effect is linked more to how long you exercise, rather than how intense you exercise. So taking the longer walk is a good way to lower your blood pressure. Do you spend all day sitting at a desk? Well, I've got some bad news. Studies show that prolonged sitting is not only bad for your heart and blood vessels, it also increases your risk of heart disease. If you must be seated most of the day, then try taking frequent short breaks to walk or stretch. Use a pedometer or fitness tracker to make sure you're getting enough steps each day, and gradually increase your steps per day to a goal of 7,000 to 10,000. Maybe ask a coworker to walk with you at lunch or break time. Getting up and staying active will help keep high blood pressure from doing more harm. Trusting in God means that you believe He loves you, that He's on your side and will take care of you. This is important, especially in difficult or uncertain times. You may think you can control the situation and do everything on your own, but the truth is, God asks you to put your trust in Him, not yourself. God has a perfect plan for your life, and trusting in Him has a profound impact, not just on your spiritual health, but on your physical health. A trusting and peaceful attitude helps to decrease the stress hormones that raise your blood pressure. Is your daily routine so packed with activities that you end up feeling stressed out and agitated? To find calm in the middle of chaos, turn to the gift of prayer. Give your concerns and questions over to God. Try sending up short prayers throughout the day. Whether you pray silently or write your prayers in a journal, you'll be taking helpful steps to give up worry and gain peace. If you have close friends at your side, then you are truly blessed because they help you go through the highs and lows of life. During the good times, you can talk and laugh together. During the bad times, you can comfort and help each other. It takes commitment to build relationships that can weather the storm, but it's well worth the effort. Close relationships bring joy and offer countless health benefits, including lowering your stress, fostering healthier habits, and even contributing to a longer life. In his book, The Healing Power of Doing Good, author Alan Lux describes the powerful physical feelings people experience when directly helping others. This helper's high, as he calls it, makes volunteering to improve the lives of others incredibly gratifying, and it's literally good for your heart. A recent study found that older adults who spend at least 200 hours a year volunteering have a 40% lower risk of high blood pressure compared to those who don't volunteer at all. Start by looking for volunteer opportunities in your community, such as helping at a local school, visiting a senior center, coaching a youth sports team, tutoring a student, or serving meals at a shelter. You'll be helping others and helping your heart. Volunteering allows you time to reflect and nurture an attitude of gratitude. Gratitude is an important component of a positive outlook. Think about how you see the world around you. Do you focus primarily on the positive or the negative? Well, it's your attitude, not your circumstances, that determines your happiness level. You can't always change what happens to you, but you can change how you react to what happens. Every time you're faced with a life situation, you get to choose what your outlook will be. We all experience stress at one time or another. It may come from work or home or other people, but wherever it comes from, stress is a driver of high blood pressure. If you are stressed all the time, your body lives in constant fight or flight mode, and this leads to a faster heart rate and narrowed blood vessels. Take the time to think about what makes you stressed, and once you identify the source, consider how you can eliminate or reduce that stress in your life. For example, you may need to change your expectations, give yourself more time to complete tasks, or accept some things you just cannot change. Even if the exact causes of high blood pressure are not completely understood, it is clear that what we put into our bodies directly affects our health. We know that certain foods can increase blood pressure, while others can lower it. So it's important to be aware of unhealthy foods and choose healthier options. You can give your body the nourishment it needs without surrendering flavor and variety. Changing your eating habits can be difficult, so take it one day at a time. And when you consistently make healthier choices, you'll be encouraged by the improvements in your blood pressure and overall health. If you've dealt with high blood pressure before, then you probably already know salt intake can be a factor. But did you know that decreased sodium intake can also be a problem? Some salt is necessary in our diets for optimal health, and the daily recommended amount is 2,300 milligrams of sodium, or just a little more than 1 level teaspoon of salt. Now, most of the salt we find in foods is added during processing. Canned foods, frozen dinners, and packaged baked goods are some of the worst offenders. In nature, only a small amount of sodium occurs in whole plant foods. That means you can significantly minimize your salt intake by eating fresh whole foods instead of the prepackaged variety. But for many of us, salt equals flavor. Well, you can still enjoy delicious foods experimenting with herbs and spices. Basil, bay leaves, chili flakes, cilantro, cinnamon, cumin, garlic, ginger, nutmeg, oregano, paprika, thyme, and turmeric. All are great ways to add flavor to your food without adding so much sodium. And there's also growing scientific evidence that inadequate potassium intake is closely related to high blood pressure. It is estimated that a staggering 98% of Americans do not get enough potassium. Fruits and vegetables are a great source of potassium. Beans have the highest amount. For the best blood pressure response, pair your decrease in sodium intake with an increase in potassium. So remember, high blood pressure may be your diagnosis, but it doesn't have to define you. You can live a whole, healthy life by following the creation health principles. Discover God's wholeness for your mind, body, and spirit. Now that's a healthy prescription to last a lifetime.